Sophia, Rairi, Tahini, none could stand in your way. But a new challenger is on the horizon, and this grandma doesn't mess around. Hello Tamers, my name is Kodiak and welcome back to our survival guide series, and today we're taking the fight to Tuckma and taking on Yareni, leader of the Quetzal Dojo. The Quetzal Dojo is unlike anything you've faced before. Not only does Yareni have the most powerful team of Temtem you've faced up until this point, but she also relies on Temtem types that will force you to make changes to your team composition. While you may have skated by with the same core team since the first dojo, things are about to change, and you'll need to be prepared for that. Spend some time familiarizing yourself with this infographic Livid put together that helps break down the fight at a glance. If you want a higher resolution version to print out, hop on over to our Discord, assign yourself the Temtem role, and check out the resources section. There, you'll find everything you need to take on Temtem with a full head of steam. The Quetzal Dojo reintroduces players to the puzzle aspect of the game. Much like the Arasola Dojo, Quetzal presents players with a challenging layout they must traverse in order to reach Yareni. Depending on the path players take, they could face up to 4 sets of tamers. While the overarching theme of Quetzal is crystal and toxic, players can expect to deal with a number of challenging Temtem throughout the dojo. All in all, Temtem used in the Quetzal Dojo range from levels 31 to 45 and cover the following types: nature, water, electric, mental, rock, wind, crystal, melee, and toxic. Additionally, neutral techniques are also used in the mix, which makes this one of the most diverse dojos in the game to date. Getting around the Quetzal Dojo is a challenge in and of itself, which is why we released a tandem video to help you figure it out. Click on the card in the top right of your screen now and it will take you to our companion video that will walk you step by step through the process. Yareni's first Temtem out of the gate is Volarend, a wind and toxic type with an explosive 4-technique toolkit that covers 3 types. Volarend has 2 100+ damage abilities, a neutral technique called Multiple Pecs, and a wind technique called Blizzard. Both are incredibly dangerous, especially if you send out the wrong Temtem first. Poor management of your team will almost guarantee that Volarend gets a chance to take out a Temtem early. The toolkit is too powerful, and matched up with Yareni's second Temtem mix, the danger levels increase even more. You also can't sleep on Toxic Plume, a toxic technique that synergizes with Yareni's second Temtem mix. The ability isn't lights out in terms of damage, but the synergy makes it incredibly potent. Volarend is weak to electric techniques, and by this point you'll most likely have a Nestlo or a Genki floating around. Just remember, Volarend can easily take on water types like Nestla, so it may not be your best choice. Yareni's second starter is Mix, a crystal and mental type that synergizes well with Volarend. Mix brings 3 abilities to the table: Headram, a powerful neutral technique, Crystal Bite, a powerful crystal technique, and Energy Manipulation, a high-priority mental technique. While Mix is the lowest level Temtem on Yareni's team, you still have to be careful. Crystal Bite and Headram both deal at or above 100 damage, which means they can make quick work of your Temtem. Start off with the wrong type, and the combination of Volarend and Mix will have you on your heels in no time. Mix's trait, Puppet Master, is also something we have to proactively prepare for. Below 40%, any attacks directed at Mix will be redirected to its ally. That means you'll actually be attacking the other Temtem on the field. You can work around this in a few different ways, by killing the other Temtem first, or by anticipating the redirection and choosing a technique with an effective type matchup. Mix is also rocking the Ice Cube gear, which reduces the damage it takes from fire abilities by 20%. Once you get through the starters, Yareni can call on any of her remaining Temtem into the fight. One particularly nasty opponent is Mudred, a crystal and earth type that has the single most potent technique on Yareni's team. We already talked about Headram, but it's Stone Ball we really need to focus on. This ability is devastating, rocking a baseline 130 damage and can be used on the first turn Mudred is active. The catch is that Stone Ball has an insane stamina cost of 29, so Mudred will have to get rest more often than not, but when it does get the technique off, it's going to hurt. Mudred also is equipped with the Umbrella item, which reduces the damage it takes from water techniques by 20%, which means focusing on another weakness is probably best. It should be said that melee techniques are 4 times as effective against Mudred, so if you want to knock it out quickly, that's your best bet. Yareni's next Temtem is Gazuma, the evolved form of Genki, and by this point you probably know the deal. Gazuma has 3 techniques: Drill Impact, a neutral technique, and 2 electric techniques, DC Beam and Electric Storm. The really standout ability here is Electric Storm, which deals above average damage and hits your entire team. In combination with Drill Impact, Gazuma is just as potent as Yareni's other Temtem, and coupled with the fact that it's only weak to Crystal means dealing with Gazuma is a real pain. Gazuma is also equipped with Rock Shield, which reduces the damage it takes from Crystal techniques by 20%. Considering Gazuma is only weak to Crystal, this is a big deal. Gazuma is going to be a pain point on Yareni's team. It's going to be hard to kill and will chip away at your team over time. Of course, you can still use Crystal Temtem, which are effective against Gazuma. Just be aware of the fact that they may not be as effective. Noxolotl is the next Temtem in line, and I'll admit I definitely have a soft spot for this freaky looking toxic Temtem. Nox brings to the table 2 moves, Toxic Ink and Tentacle Whip, neither of which is a game changer. Noxolotl can deal some serious damage to your grass and water Temtem, so just be careful about who you choose to leave on the field. Nox also has an interesting trait called Trance, which puts him to sleep if he's attacked, and he gets a slight attack and special attack boost if brought below 30%. This is probably one of the weirdest traits in the game, and while it could have some impact in competitive play, it's pretty useless in PvE. Yareni's final Temtem, and easily most deadly, is Shun, a level 43 Crystal and Water type. Of all the Temtem you faced in this battle, Shun is definitely the most equipped to deal with a variety of types. Shun has 2 water techniques, Aqua Bullet Hell and Ice Stalactite, both of which deal above average damage. Shun also has Crystal Bite, which we talked about briefly before. Because of the high level and potency of Crystal Bite, this is an absolutely devastating attack and one you need to be prepared for. The thing about Shun is that it's not weak to a whole lot. Nature types are risky to bring to the fight because of all the toxic abilities, which leaves us with Melee Temtem. Shun is also equipped with the Snare item, which effectively turns off the item of any Temtem that attacks it. If you're relying on damage reduction items like Lightning Rod or Umbrella, don't forget this, because losing those damage reductions may mean the difference between winning and losing. Preparing for your fight against Yareni can be quite challenging. She brings a diverse selection of Temtem to the table, which means you have to be just as flexible. That being said, there are a few trends that can help us pick some Temtem which can make an impact in the fight. The first is that melee Temtem are relatively safe picks in this fight. Melee techniques are 2 times as effective against Crystal Temtem. The catch though is that Yareni's Temtem are mostly hybrids, which means you're only really dealing double damage against Mix, Mudred, and most importantly, Shun. Additionally, melee Temtem are only weak to mental and digital, and the only mental technique in play here is Mix's energy manipulation, which really isn't a game changer. Temtem like Skunch and Valish could be invaluable in your fight against Yareni, and definitely worth picking up. Those melee techniques may not have been much use up until this point, but there is definitely a place for them in this fight. Of course, if you picked Smazy at the start of your adventures, you may be all set, but we realize not everyone made that decision. In terms of dealing with Yareni's other Temtem, Bun Bun or Mudred can be a great pick. The Earth and Crystal techniques can make short work of Mix, Gazuma, and Yareni's Mudred, but just be aware that what works on her Temtem will also work on yours. It's definitely a gamble, but if you can land the first punch, there's a good chance you'll be able to handle a sizable portion of her team with just that one Temtem. Finally, in terms of a flex spot, both Nature, Wind, and Electric Temtem have their place. If you decide to go with a Genki or Gazuma, you'll be able to take out Yareni's Volorend and Noxolotl no problem, thanks to the combination of Wind and Electric techniques. Just watch out for Mudred's Stone Ball, which can easily kill you in one turn. Additionally, a strong Nature Temtem like Surneef or Orphil can help deal with Shun, and as we said, Shun is a beast. Having a powerful technique like Allergic Spread or even Sharp Leaf can come in handy, especially since it'll be doing 2 times the damage. If you do decide to bring a nature type, just be ready to take it back out of the fight. Noxolotl and Volorend can easily tear down any nature types you put out with their toxic abilities, but when approached the right way, it can be a game changer. When it comes to taking on Yareni, you have to be prepared. Hopefully you're watching this video before you get too far in your adventure, because once you make it underground, you're stuck there until you can clear your name, which means you'll have limited access to new Temtem. This means take the time now to catch a Zephyruff or Orifil before you're locked in the mines. While you'll still have access to some Temtem, it'll be those flex choices that really make or break your fight here. Additionally, you need to go into the fight on the right foot. Yareni starters cover a lot of bases, but you can easily find a hole to exploit. Volorend is weak to electric, which means opening with a Gazuma is probably smart, while you can easily counter mix with another crystal Temtem like Gaialis or Valish, which will come in handy in other parts of the fight as well. Once you knock out the starters, be ready to move around your team, depending on what Yareni brings into the fight. We already talked about some of the strong counters you can bring to the table, but if you never call on them to counter a situation, what good are they actually doing you? Tamer battles are all about anticipating your opponent's moves. It's more of a chess match than anything else. Of course, PvE is slightly more predictable, but that doesn't mean you can sit back and just roll over the content. At this point in the game, that just won't work. If you're still struggling with Yareni, don't get discouraged. It's not an easy encounter, but there are some things you can do to help get through the fight. First and foremost is to take some time and level up your Temtem even more. A few levels goes a long way, and the increased stats never hurt. Secondly, take a hard look at your team and really think through your decisions. It can be hard to bench one of your star players, but if it helps you win at the end of the day, it's worth it. Finally, go into the battle with the right items. Tonic Plus items are your best friend, and while they're expensive, they're worth every single Pansun. If you're still having problems, we're here to help. Join Legion Gaming on Discord, where you can talk to us directly, and we'll help you through any problems you may have so that you can defeat Yareni and be on your way. The Quetzal Dojo will push you outside your comfort zone, forcing you to shift around your team in a way you may not be ready for. But as with most things, a little knowledge and some determination go a long way. If you found this survival guide helpful, don't forget to leave us a like on the video and comment to let us know that it helped. Our goal is to provide every tamer with resources so that they can keep collecting and keep fighting. My name is Kodiak, and from everyone here at Legion Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.